That's very big, big, big. Kale, we are going to graduate in 2020. Oh, we can hear 2020.
Is that starting to record?
Yeah, then we can do it. It's fine. Yeah, that's okay. You can record.
All right. Thank you so much.
Mm.
So I am here with my colleagues. Actually, it's called Doreen, and I have another one, Kansas Sylvia, who is not with us, but
Yes.
we are together with them.
Yes.
So the questions will be asked by Mrs. Doreen, and you will be responding. So thank you so much.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Hello, Honorable Adeke. Thank you so much for giving us this opportunity. We really can't take it for granted. The first question is before running for guild presidency, what was your understanding of the history of the female guild presidents? Let's say the likes of Miss Sarah Kajingo, Miss Nora Njuba, and Miss Abo Anna. No, sorry, it's Susan Abo. Like, how did their experiences influence you?
Well, before I ran for guild, I was not so interested in their lives and, hearing their stories. It's only when I got interested to run for guild presidents that I just started to do my research a little bit. Truthfully speaking, I did not have a chance to interface with any of them by the time I ran for guild president. I had not shared with any of them, like on a personal level. I only met them after I had become guild president.
Okay. So what was the political and social climate within Makerere during your time as a student and as a guild president?
Well, I ran for guild president in 2013. At that time, I think, okay, I vividly remember I ran in FDC, and at that time, there was a lot of political consciousness in the university and among the students' body. Because I remember we would get involved in so many things beyond just politics of the university. We were involved in activism, FOC, walk to work, FOC, stuff like that. Uh, Hello?
Hello.
Okay. Sylvia, sorry, maybe let's just redo this. Let me get another device because someone is disturbing this one. We can redo this, yeah?
Okay.
Give me a few minutes. Let me get another device
Okay.
hooked onto Wi-Fi.
Okay.
Yes, Honorable.
Hello.
Yes. So can we continue?
Okay, yeah, I started the video. Yes, you want the video on?
Yes, sure.
Sure.
Okay, so you asked me about what I knew whether I was connected to those other guild presidents. No, not really. I only met them after I won, and it's on my initiative. to reach out, share experiences, get advice, things like that. That's how I met them.
Okay. So the other one, we were talking about the political and social climate at Makerere University when you were a student there.
Yes. You asked me about the political social environment. By that time, as I said, there was a lot of political consciousness among the students' body generally. We were all free to involve ourselves in political parties. I remember Uganda Young Democrats, very, very, very vibrant. I remember the FDC. I remember NRM. Those are the three major parties then in Makerere. And most of our work, most of our activities as student leaders would be to call in our headquarters, call in, iconic figures from the headquarters, from the mother party, to speak to the youth league, inspire, help us organize. I personally was involved in activism well beyond Makerere, just with FOC women. So I think it was a very fiery period politically, and the students were not afraid to engage politically. Yeah, it was good.
And
very
socially?
thrilling.
The social
Socially as
aspect?
well, because Makere's social networks and gatherings, Makerere being the nature of the university that it is, it's a really secular university. So we were really free to socialize, whether on religious or cultural or political backgrounds. It was something that was happening freely. So we were gathering differently. Personally, then I was gathering with St. Augustine students community. I was in my tribal community, my ethnic community, Testa, Kumamibere. It was really open.
Okay. So what were
Yeah.
the defining issues, or should we call it what inspired you? Are there defining issues that were within university that really inspired you to run for guild presidency at a time?
What inspired me to run for guild presidency? Wow, there's so many things that inspired me. You'd have to read my book. I wouldn't tell them all in this interview because it was really a journey. But it was a combination of factors, from my friends and the people that I surrounded myself with, my personal involvement in previous campaigns, my political consciousness as an individual, coming from my, family background, and also the feeling that I would make history as a woman at the university. I had seen previous guild campaigns happen with female candidates, and the attitudes towards them and how they didn't emerge successful. And I felt like for me, it set really a challenge for me, set the bar for me to make history as a woman guild president. Yeah.
Okay. So after you've run for guild president, you've gone through, what are some initiatives or programs, or should we call them achievements, or like the priorities, like, this is the priorities that you championed, or the priorities that you championed. So we should say there are initiatives or priorities that you championed during your tenure.
When you run for student guild president, your priority is one, it's students, really. It's that's really about it. You don't have to champion
any unique cause that is different from the needs and concerns of students. So when I ran for president, that time we were grappling with 60% tuition policy, which had passed in the guilds, the predecessing guild to mine, my predecessor. Yeah, I think so. It had passed in his council. And many students felt like it was going to be very expensive for them. They're not going to be able to meet the demands of the university to pay 60% before coursework week. So at that time, our priority was to negotiate a better arrangement to get the students to be able to at least sit their coursework and maybe even go for the final exam, then subsequently finish their tuition. But that, aside from other issues like the welfare of students, the state of the halls of residence, the safety of students, especially female students, the issues of missing marks, errant lecturers, all those things were part of what we're doing, part of our advocacy on the Guild for Students. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. So connected to that, amidst all the challenges and all what you underwent, like in your tenure, could you maybe first share to us your proudest thing or your legacy as in your own, like what you can be proud of, like you left or you challenged in Makerere University?
Well, if you go to the guild office now as it is, I don't know, for at least the next 5 years subsequent to my departure, we left some notable things which only users of the Student Guild office will take note of. But generally speaking, I think I was very glad that that was one of the years that there was no student strike in Makerere University. You know, student strikes always put us as leaders in a very awkward position. And it had been the norm that every academic year, there was a strike. It was very awkward for us because when students strike, there's destruction of property, but most importantly, students, their personal liberty is taken away from them because they are detained. And it would come with so many burdens to the students because you're imprisoned, you probably have not paid tuition, the university slaps you with a disciplinary action, you're not able to continue with school because you're on suspension. Things like that were, for me, they were very difficult to navigate. So I did everything I could to water down the occurrence of a strike because I didn't want to have myself in that position. And we did it successfully. There was a strike, but it was a self-strike. It wasn't a student strike. So I wasn't caught up having to look for students in police cells, run to court for them, rescue them. Yeah, all those difficult situations that you naturally find yourself in when there is a strike. As a guild president, you naturally found yourself in.
Okay, connected to that among challenges. So, what specific challenges did you face as maybe a guild, female guild president, in terms of gender? Yeah. So, would you mind sharing to
The
us?
stereotype, the
Yeah, the
stereotype
stereotypes.
of
Yeah, sure.
gender is very, very strong. It's not something that even a university as affluent and academically empowered as Makerere has been able to deal with. It's something that I faced with the fellow students. I faced even when dealing with the staff, both teaching and non-teaching. there was that, the stereotype. There was also a stereotype on age, because most of the negotiations happened on tables where people older than myself were sitting. So many times they considered that we probably didn't know as much as they did. Yeah. So that's really what I struggled with back at the university. And then, of course, in my campaigns, how physically strenuous it is really was a challenge, because it was physically straining, and also many times my personal security was at stake. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. How did you experience as a guild president contribute to your personal and professional development?
I must say, my experience in my career may be so far one of the best that I have ever experienced. And every time I look back with so much nostalgia, because it was such a period of growth, such a period of development for me as an individual, for my consciousness, for my political awareness, for me personally, for responsibility. It was huge for me. And I look at it as the beginning of my story. So much that I cannot tell my story now without mentioning my career as taking center stage. It was such a pivotal time in my life that I will never forget. It really did change my life, expanded my knowledge, expanded my experience, broadened my networks, helped me see life so differently. I experienced so much growth. And you know, the amount of responsibility that I walked into, it really did change me. It did change me. Yeah. It did. So there is no telling my story without my career, without the time of my guild presidency taking center place, the central place. It was a life-changing opportunity, life-turning moment. Really, really very defining for me.
Yeah, indeed it was, because I believe if it wasn't for Makerere University, we would not be here with you. So
yeah, that is true. Even now in my days as a local grassroots politician, I still speak very fondly about Makerere, because I come from a community where maybe in percentage wise, I would say not more than 30% are able to access a university education, and much less access such an institution of higher learning with such a highly ranking as Makerere is, and even less emerge victorious to lead such an institution. It's such a privilege. It really is. It was and remains a big privilege to me, to my family, to my community, to everything that I have become, that I became guild president. I became more responsible. I became more aware, more alert, more conscious. My networks grew. And maybe, yeah, net worth. Yeah, it really did grow. It's because I was guild president that I got an opportunity to even go back for a master's degree the way I did. It helped me meet members of the academia that I would never ordinarily have had a chance to interact with. it was huge. It really was huge. I don't think words would be enough to fully explain, but there's not been many life-changing moments for me in my life.
We're glad it
Like
did.
it
So,
really did.
what impact do you believe your leadership had on Makerere University and its students at large?
Well, I think that question would be best answered by other people. But if you ask me as you have asked me, I would think that for Makerere University, for many women and the subsequent female guild president, having me as another added statistic to our number gives more faith to women, more faith to women in the academia, more faith to women in the leadership of our country, more faith to women and girls about their ability to make it, to juggle everything and make it. So it gives them more hope to dream, to dare to be ambitious, to expect, to want something, because I am the evidence of it actually happening. Yeah.
Okay.
Hope that's
Last but not least is which message or what are your thoughts on the ongoing challenges for female leaders in higher institutions of learning and at the national scene? Or like which message do you have for them and how can they navigate such challenges?
Well, I would tell female leaders, females all over, that you cannot afford to fail, that you must do everything you can to succeed, because there are so many girls who are unborn, who are not yet in existence, who will be counting on what you do today. I think it's important for them to dare to dream and be ambitious, to stretch and test their capacities to the fullest extent of them, because there are so many girls waiting to be inspired, waiting to be led, waiting for their candles to be lit by yours. So it's very important that you don't fail, that you don't give up on yourself, and you don't give up on being an emblem, on being a banner for your society and causing change, of course, positively impacting the lives of the people around you. So it's very important that you keep on, you wake up every day knowing that God has given you a fighting chance, a new chance every day, and take it, continue to work towards your dream. Have very big dreams. It's all possible now. It's not as it was so many years ago. Now we have so many examples from whom to learn. Yeah, that's what I could tell them.
Okay. I'd skip to this very last question, but it's how
Okay.
did you engage with the diverse students, population, and community at Makerere University, and how did you ensure that their voices are heard?
Well, I made it critical for me to involve representation on my executive, representation from all these unique colleges or groups of people, so that I would, keep abreast with them. I had people in the international students community who would share with me, like when we had a staff strike and the uni was closed. International students sometimes don't have where to stay. They have to travel all the way back home. So the easiest way is to simply be involved and to have representation from all these unique colleges of people at the university, so that you're you're aware as a leader, you're more sensitive to their concerns, and yeah, you can be more efficient.
Okay, thank you so much, Honorable Anna. We are requesting that maybe you share with us some of the pictures where you're still here at university, and also
I
maybe
can
some of
find
the
them.
platforms.
But
Yeah.
if you go to my Facebook, it's been a long time since I got to Facebook, but it's open. Just go to my Facebook and search all my pictures. You'll find pictures of the guild time, some of the campaign, and maybe you can find one that can help you there.
Okay.
All right.
I didn't save a lot. Back then, I didn't even have an iCloud.
Oh,
So it's in
I
the
don't have
name,
many.
and the account is in the names of Anna
Just
Adeke.
search for Adeke Anebajo, my full name. You will see
Okay.
me on Facebook. Then you just search the images. You would find a wealth of stuff there that can help you.
Okay. Thank you so much.
all the best.
You're welcome.
I know it's a
Thank you.
political fiction,
Yeah.
so I wish you all the best.
Yes. Thank you very much. Take care. All the
All right.
best with your work.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.